Welcome to Bird Life. A few months ago, I learned a lesson that completely reinforced something that I have been teaching for years. At the beginning of the year, Craig and I thought we had 3 months to pack up our lives on the farm in Mozambique. 3 months felt manageable. There was time to sort, there was time to pack, there was time to say goodbye, but life, as usual, has other plans for us. Craig's work situation shifted and changed slightly, and suddenly we didn't actually have 3 months anymore, but we had 2 weeks. Two weeks to pack up 6.5 years of life. Now, you would think that would have been completely overwhelming and stressful, but surprisingly, it wasn't. Stressful, yes, sure, okay, absolutely. Busy, very, very, very busy, but not all that overwhelming. And I've spent quite a bit of time just reflecting on why. And the answer has nothing to do with being organized. It had everything to, or did have something to do with being organized. It had everything to do with being what we'd already done months before we were actually leaving the farm. And you see, every season inside my coaching program, we do a declutter, and it's become a rhythm, something that we do seasonally, not because I do enjoy throwing things away, but because I've realized that clutter really quietly starts to steal our energy. So over the previous few months, we'd already worked through all the paperwork, through the books, through the kitchen cupboards, through the clothes. We'd made hundreds of those tiny little decisions long before moving day arrived, which meant that when life suddenly sped up, we weren't trying to make all those tiny decisions under pressure. The decisions had already been made. The exception, though, are always that one little drawer, and I'm sure everyone has it, that battery that might be still working, the charging cables, the rubber band, fairy lights, just the random screwdriver or pocket knife that you've found and put somewhere. All those things that you feel are too useful to throw away, but don't actually have like a specific home or belong anywhere. So there I was standing there with all those random objects, which is really fascinating because every item pretty much asks a question. Do I actually really need this? Why have I kept this? Would I even notice if it disappeared? And that's when I realized that clutter costs far more than just space. Every object represents a decision. Every unfinished decision quietly asks for your attention. Every pile says, "You'll have to deal with me later." Every overflowing inbox, every pile of paperwork, every cupboard that is too full to close, they're not just taking up physical space, they're taking up mental space as well. It's like having a dozen browsers open in your mind all day long. So you might not actually be looking at them, but your brain knows they're there. And eventually you start to feel overwhelmed without actually understanding why. And sometimes we think that we need more discipline, more motivation, a better plan, but perhaps what we really need is fewer decisions waiting for us. Less noise, less unfinished business, less tabs, and just a little bit more space. And what struck me after those 2 weeks was this: life won't always give us the timeline that we'd like. Things change, plans move, unexpected situations always arrive, and we can't actually control that. But we can build systems before we need them. The tiny habits that prepare us for life's bigger moments. For me, seasonal decluttering has become one of those habits. Not because I want a perfectly tidy house or boat, it would be nice, but because I just want a little bit more capacity, a little bit more space, and that feeling of not being overwhelmed. I want to know that if life suddenly changes direction, I'm not carrying years of unnecessary clutter around with me. And that's exactly why our July seasonal reset focuses on the hidden cost of clutter this time. Not just your cupboards, not just the digital clutter, not just the mental clutter, the unfinished decisions that are quietly draining our energy every single day. So, if that resonates with you, I'd love you to join us. You'll find all the details in my school community linked below. But before you go, I'd love to leave you with one question. What are you carrying that no longer serves you? Not just physically, not just mentally, not just emotionally, not just digitally. And how much lighter might you feel if you finally let it go? Thanks for hanging out with me on the boat, on the jetty, and I'll see you again for the next video. Take care.